Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called 7 Things That Shocked Me in Poland. So I am guessing this has to do with culture shock, or maybe things that are a little surprising about this country. I think especially coming from what I could assume is a US perspective. I think things are a bit different if you're going as a tourist and if you're actually staying there permanently. Either if you live there for, I don't know, a few months or a few years. So I would be very, very intrigued to know what kind of things and what are the differences. So let's check it out and comment, like, and subscribe.
Dzień dobry, cześć, and hello. Today, guys, I'm going to be sharing the 7 shocking things about Poland when I first went over to Poland. So these are kind of some of the things that really surprised me when I first went over to Poland, and I figured I might as well share this list with you because it's kind of special to me, and I'm sure some of you who are going to travel to Poland could also hear this list. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so number 1 on my list might sound obvious to a lot of people, but it's quality of food. Okay, so how do I say this? Most of the food there just seems to have this overall better quality of a taste. It seems like, for example, the vegetables were picked at the right time and grown properly, and it tastes like the meat has almost a better quality to it. So I think European countries have this higher standard to cooking and harvesting foods, and I really think that equates to overall a better meal. And also,
yeah, I think it's because the US, it has to do with maybe the fertilizers. I think maybe, I don't know, they're not grown in a lab. They tend to be grown in nature. I'll put it that way.
Bit of a side note, McDonald's in Poland is much better than in the States. I don't know how to really describe it because it's hard.
Okay, so even fast food.
Hard for me to tell you the taste, but it's just overall better. It really tastes more real. In the States, it just looks so plain and bland, and it also tastes that way too. But in Poland, it tastes much better. I
think a lot of American things can taste a little like plastic. It's not that, oh, I've tasted plastic, but they tend to have this plasticky taste, unnatural taste maybe.
Like the burgers, the Big Macs, all of that. It's just, I don't know, it's just much better. But I have talked to a couple Polish people who also work at McDonald's, and they say the same thing that we have a problem with here, which is that no one cleans the ice cream machine. So I think like the ice cream machines just never get cleaned worldwide.
Who cares? The ice creams are good, the sundaes are good, the McFlurry machine is always broken. Who cares? They're good.
I think that's just like a common thing now. But yeah, the food is just much better overall. Alright, number 2 on this list is hearing and seeing the language. Now, I'm completely not used to Slavic languages. Now, you can ask most Americans, they're used to more of the Romantic languages, mainly Spanish. And yeah, I mean, seeing and hearing Polish was almost mind-boggling to me. But I really, really enjoy the sound of Polish. I really like the Polish language a lot. But yeah, I don't know.
I like it, although I don't know if I could recognize Polish, the language. Just, no. When people are speaking, I don't know if I could recognize Polish. It's a really tough language.
I guess it's just me personally, but I really like to see and hear the language. I really think it sounds really cool.
It does.
And I've told people this before, but it kind of sounds like this Italian/Portuguese mixed with a Slavic language. That's what it kind of sounds like to me. Uczyłam po polsku I kocham ci po polsku. And a side note on this,
it sounds, I think, vaguely Russian. I'm not hearing Italian. I'm not hearing Portuguese.
I think it's like the second most hardest language for an English-speaking person to learn. I'm pretty sure. And the amount of consonant clusters to see.
Maybe I would have thought it was Chinese or Mandarin or Cantonese.
In the language is just crazy. I mean, it's really hard for English people to pronounce the words and really kind of get into the zone with the language. But it is possible, and there's tons of people who have learned Polish and can.
Of course it's possible. It's just going to be hard.
Speak it fluently. So just remember, it's always possible to still learn. I'm in the never-ending process of it myself. Alright, so number 3 on this list is that Poland is such a safe country, and this really shocked me. Like, you can go out at night and feel completely comfortable if you're a guy or a girl. I mean, you could just go out at night and you are not going to get bothered by anyone. No one's going to pester you. The only thing with that, I would say, is...
I think this depends on the city. I think, I don't know, I think all places have sketchy parts.
That sometimes there are some random drunk people, and with that, you know, if they're intoxicated on a substance, you don't know what they're going to do. I've had a few run-ins with some drunk people in Poland. For instance, here's a small story. I was in an ice cream store getting ice cream, and this drunk guy comes in, and he's basically like throwing slurs at people. going up to their tables and talking to them. And he didn't throw punches or anything like that, but he did get kicked out. But that's really the only crazy thing I've seen in Poland.
I would hope they kicked him out, but my God, that's intense.
Is like a drunk person going crazy. I've never seen them, you know, hitting people or throwing things at all. But I mean, you just never.
Yeah, I guess it's just a difference between a drunk guy insulting people and just, you know, someone grabbing a knife and, I don't know, doing things,
you know, with drunk people in the first place. But besides that, Poland is such a safe country, and I've never had to worry about anything ever.
That's
and
nice.
Even at some of the bus stops and bus stations that look a little bit sketchy,
okay,
I've never had an issue ever.
Okay, that's
so
nice.
Don't be an American.
Yeah, okay, it looks bad, but it's safe. Great.
Or Westerner and think that there's gonna be some evil Polish guy named Janusz sitting at the corner,
okay, no, I'm not
or you know,
that.
at the bazaar, the markets, saying, you know, jakiś problem, you know, what's the problem?
Well, they're not in the mob, so I wouldn't expect to encounter this. I'm not in a movie.
Or something like that. You know, it's just not gonna happen there. So just don't worry. It's a safe country. Go to it. Okay, so this may sound weird to some people, but the old towns in Poland, Stare Miasto, honestly to me seem like an amusement park. It looks like Disney World or something like that. It looks like
incredible.
This beautiful preservation of history.
Because they don't look real?
And it really feels like you're going back in time to the old town. And most cities have old towns. Some of them are kind of the same as others, but some of them just have these extremely unique features.
Well, I think each city is special in its own way.
In Gdańsk, you can see these incredible Gothic architectures of the buildings and the churches, and these
beautiful.
long, narrow side streets with these just beautiful views and colors on the walls. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful, and it's something you really have to see in any Polish town that you go to. Okay, so number 5 on this list is that Polish people are really wholesome and honest. Number 1, to me, they seem like they like Americans a lot, so you know, you're not going to go there and expect them to honestly just dislike you because of the politics of your country or whatnot. Like, you're not going to have that problem. They're typically going to like Americans overall. So I wanted to say that, but there's also this thing with Polish people where you really know if they're happy or not. Like, Polish people don't put on this facade or, you know, this fake mask like Americans tend to do, where, you know, it's like, oh, how are you doing? Oh, I'm doing great. You know, everything's joyful and stuff. It's not like that in Poland. People are just straight up and to the point. If they're having a bad day, they're going to tell you that. And if they're having a good day,
I prefer the honesty, and I think it lends itself to conversation, because if someone asks you, hey, how are you? And you answer, oh, great, everything's going great. Okay, so the conversation just dies. But if someone says, hey, oh, I'm doing awful, wouldn't you know, I've had the day, you wouldn't imagine the day I've had. Then, oh, you would ask, what happened? And then, you know, that opens up the conversation.
They're going to tell you that. And if they're happy to meet you, they're going to show you that. So just bear that in mind.
And if they're not happy to meet you, they'll probably let you know as well.
And a side note with this one is that Polish people aren't like a southern town in the States. They're not going to, you know, go up to you, oh, hey, how are you doing? You know, hold the door open, and, you know, they don't have that southern charm. But they do have the southern hospitality. And they're, you know, like I said, they're not going to go up to you or, like, you know, say hi, how are you doing as you walk by them down the street like you can see in America. But they're still extremely nice people once they open up. All right, so number 6 on this list is the clean transportation, okay? I was actually really shocked by this because I went into Warsaw and we go into like the tunnel and the metro, I guess it's called, and we were taking the train from like an area of Warsaw to another area of Warsaw. And it was so clean and quiet. It was insane. I was thinking, wow, like this must be brand new.
Yeah, sometimes subways are a little bit of a dump.
And, you know, coming from like the New York City metro,
yes,
I mean, that place looks like a dump compared to the metro in Poland.
Just mentioned it, yeah.
Absolutely clean. And also, people are just really courteous and respectful of each other.
Oh,
and
that's nice.
I don't know. It was awesome. It was really cool.
Yeah, in some places, I think people feel the subway sort of a lawless place because you're underground, and then all society rules just go away. Yeah, and it shouldn't.
Experience. Okay, so leading on to the last point there with transportation is that the accessibility of public transportation in Poland is honestly something that really shocked me. Okay, so as most people are aware, the public transportation in the US really sucks. Now, some towns and some cities, it's actually okay and it's pretty good. but overall, in general, it's pretty bad.
It's about 4 cities and that's it.
Okay, so now the public transportation in Poland will take you anywhere. Like you can go from any little small town typically to anywhere in Poland pretty easily by bus, by train, I mean, whatever you want. Like there's so many different options and it's really easy to, for example, if you're getting onto a city bus, you can change the language to English if you want, or even I think Russian as well. And I mean, it's just really easy to access and kind of
wonder why only Russian and English.
Get through where you're going. And leading on with that, most people also speak a little bit of English, so if you're having trouble, you can always ask. But yeah, all the videos you watched before, we got to all of the towns we did through public transportation. We took buses, we took trains, and we got everywhere we ever wanted to. We never really
So you can basically just go around with public transport. Well, that's great.
Had any issues at all. And it's also pretty affordable too. Now, not just with public transportation in Poland, but also if you wanted to fly from Poland to go to any other European country, it's super easy, it's super cheap, and there's also lots of airports. There's not just Warsaw, Chopin Airport, there's like so many different other airports. I know Katowice, Gdańsk, Krakow, Łódź, like so many
other major
ones.
airports.
Lublin even. So you really shouldn't have any trouble taking a cheap flight to really any other European country. Alright guys, that was the 7 things that shocked me when I first went over to Poland. So if you feel like you have anything else you wanted to add to this list, then just comment down below. And as always, stay tuned for the next one. Dziękuję I do widzenia.
What does that mean? Okay, this was really, really good. I think it was very enlightening. I think there's one of the things that I think shocked me was how he, and I think that's maybe quite an American thing. I think they're expecting Poland to be this very sketchy place, and yeah, nobody wants to go there. I think in Europe specifically, there's so many other countries that I think people, when they say, oh, I want to travel to Europe, and this is again coming from a US perspective, they probably think, oh yeah, I want to go to Europe, and they're thinking, London and maybe Berlin. Sometimes Spain for the beaches, and maybe Italy as well. But there's several sort of places and several countries that I think are probably what most Americans think of when they want to go to Europe. But I think few people are, I wanna go to Poland specifically, unless they have a very particular sort of situation that in their lives, or maybe it's just a family thing, or I want to visit my great-grandparents' place of birth, or my grandparents, or I don't know, or because they're fanatics of the World War II. I don't know, but for a normal sort of touristy person that just wants to go because, I want to travel to Europe, I think few people would actually choose to go to Poland. And I don't know why. I think maybe they get a bad rap or something, but maybe it's just not that well publicized, I think, compared to other places in Europe, which makes me incredibly sad, because it seems like a great place, not just to live, but also for tourists as well. So it's okay. You're not taking advantage of this incredible place that it's, and I don't know I don't think it's overrun by tourists yet. So it's good that if you're looking for a place that's a little bit less crowded, and you're still going to get. And I know Europe, you can't paint one Europe with just one brush stroke. But I think for people that want to go to Europe and sort of experience, the whole, I want to go to Europe as in the continent. I think, again, all those other places I mentioned tend to be, again, overcrowded with tourists because everyone wants to go there, and because they're the most famous, I think, culturally, and with media, and yes, it's sort of the most famous ones. But I wish that people would actually look into other places, because again, Europe is not just 5 cities or 7 famous cities and 6 countries. No, it's more than that. And you can see, no, it's great. You're going to have a great time. I think Polish culture it's incredible. It's amazing. And the country itself, the infrastructure can handle tourists, and you're not going to be, oh my God, it was a disaster. No, it's good. You're going to have a really good time. I think one of the things that was a little bit shocking to me, and also I think funny, but kind of shocking, I think probably in a bad way, was when he was always very safe, because I think a lot of Americans think, oh, they have this idea. I think maybe media, I think it's to blame for this, but they think, oh yeah, it's sketchy. And I think they try to pay, I think, Poland, which is sort of Eastern Europe, and they think, oh, that's one block. They couldn't mention all the countries that encompass all Eastern Europe, and they think, oh yeah, the sort of the stereotype of the sketchy guy that's in the mob in an action film. And it's okay. First of all, no, people just live there normally. It's not like that. But I think, again, media, I think it's to blame for those stereotypes, and people think, oh yeah, if I ever go there, it's gonna be a bunch of, weird things happening, weird situations, and it's gonna be super unsafe, and I'm gonna feel unsafe. No, absolutely not. And I'm glad to see videos like this that actually try to defeat that sort of myth, and you're gonna be okay. It's actually incredibly safe. I think it's probably safer than a lot of places in the US. Just because, the gun violence, I would venture to say, is non-existent. And if it's not non-existent, it's probably much less than in the US. And in general, I would assume the violence is probably just less in general. So it's not this sort of, oh yeah, it's going to be this awful place. No, absolutely not. It's going to be actually pretty safe. You're not going to be encountering danger and crime every alleyway you turn. No, of course not. So what this tells me is, yes, it's kind of safer than a lot of places in the US. So you have to, I think that Americans in general have to sort of take off that chip that tells them, oh, America's the greatest place in the world and the safest place, and other countries, and especially those in Eastern Europe, are sort of bad. No, of course not. And again, it's good. No, it's okay. It's fine. The other, and what I was speaking about fine, the public transportation. Okay, it was so clean. The subway looked very organized, and like he said, yes, in the U.S., I think it's no secret the public transport system is bad. I think you can only say, oh, it's only good and it works properly in very few places. I think can tell you, yes, we have a good public transport system. But it's not the reality for millions and millions of Americans, especially and all over the United States. Absolutely not. So it's good that the public transportation system here, it's incredible. Even in smaller towns, in very small villages, you're able to get around, and you're able to sort of go wherever you want to go. And it's not just a hassle, and you probably won't have to take 3 buses. I'm going to walk a bunch of miles just because there are no buses, there are no trains, there's simply nothing. So if you don't have a car, it's kind of impossible. And it's, oh yeah, what am I going to do? Am I going to have to cross the highway? Yeah, sometimes it's kind of like, that's the reality. It's, oh wait, I'm not going to cross the highway. But yeah, that's the reality, because simply there are no buses, there are no trains. So you absolutely, you need a car. So, and in smaller towns where there's in the middle of nowhere, it's even worse. So I'm glad to see that no, this is really not the case. And throughout this whole country, there's a lot of good infrastructure, and you're gonna be able to move around and go anywhere you like. Just going, not with trains. And he didn't mention flights, though, of course not. You can probably go there by airplane. But yeah, he was talking specifically about public transportation. So yeah, you can go by trains. And obviously the big advantage they have over there is they have trains, which the US could never. But I'm glad to see that. And of course the subway looked incredible. And it's, yes, the New York subway, it's crazy. It's so incredibly dirty, and you are able to find, you're gonna be, the scary parts, the sketchy parts that, your people are maybe a little bit scared of finding in Poland. No, you're gonna find that in New York. Go to New York subway, especially late at night and in the middle of the night. It's crazy. So I really I'm glad that he's sort of opening up, and videos like this sort of opening, do a great job, I think, opening up the view and sort of, I don't know, expanding the people's reality, and see, it's not really how you kind of assume it is. No, it's a great country. And I do have to say, I would love to go to those old towns that he mentioned. It's really funny because it looked like Disneyland. Yeah, I think in a way, it's not as in, you're, as an American person that's gonna go and be, oh my god, everything looks fake. No, it's not that it looks fake. I think what he meant is that everything looks so charming and sort of unreal, but in a good way, just because you don't think that places like this exist. And I think that's really what I imagine feels like when you're sort of walking around. It doesn't look like a real place, because those incredible buildings, it looked gorgeous. I thought, I don't really know when those clips were recorded. It looked sort of autumn-like. I would love to go in autumn if that's the case. But it looked, it was, it doesn't seem real. I can't believe I'm here, just because those cities look sort of, I don't know, it looked like someone technically all cities were created by someone, or several someones. But what I mean is, it seems sort of I can't explain it. It just looks magical in a way that I think may sound silly, but I think I get what he means. It's just, it doesn't seem real. And I think if you're walking around these incredibly old cities and towns and all those buildings that were built hundreds and hundreds of years ago, there's gonna be a sense that, oh my God, I can't believe the place that I'm walking is real. And that people live their lives here, and for some people, I think for them it's not abnormal. Obviously, they live there their whole lives, and it's sort of normal. But I think if you're coming from the outside, it's kind of crazy to think, I can't believe you live here, and I can't believe you've lived your whole life here. Aren't you amazed by all these incredible things that surround you? I don't know if they feel like this, because again, it's probably they're used to, so no, they don't really feel a sense of awe. But I think for tourists and foreigners, it's like that. It's, oh my God, no, it's incredible that you live in a place like this. But yes, I wanna go visit Poland. I know about the language she mentioned is the second hardest language to learn for English speakers. I do not know. It looks like a very hard language. I haven't attempted to learn it, but it looks very hard. I think it sounds a little vaguely Russian. I think that's probably where maybe the Slavic part comes in. But yeah, it's sort of vaguely Russian mixed with something else. It doesn't sound like Portuguese or Italian to me, like you mentioned. It just sounds like a third mysterious thing that I have no clue. But yeah, like he said, nothing is impossible. And if you really do set your mind into learning Polish, yeah, of course you can learn Polish. Is it going to take you some time? Yeah, of course. A lot of things going to take you time, but whatever. Time's going to pass anyway, so you bet as well learn that and start learning now, right? Because, well, again, time's going to pass. But that was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.